you'd always been training for that type of job. Because all the sort of media coverage after it, I mean, it put the regiment in the world's eyes, really, you know. I mean, the size of the selection straight after old MCCs, I mean, it was unreal. There were thousands of people want to go, you know. They all want to swing through windows and ropes and things, you know, and wear all black kit. You know, it was unreal. You know, in some respects it was kind of bad for the regiment, I think, in some respects, because you were, how can I say, getting the wrong type of bloke actually applying to go on selection. You know, they wanted to be James Bond type people, and all this sort of rubbish, you know, rather than just turn up and sit in a ditch and get wet and cold, you know. So, I mean, you had sort of both sides of the coin, you know.
The SAS keep an entire squadron on permanent standby to deal with terrorism wherever it may arise. Each of the SAS squadrons take it in turns to cover counter-terrorism duties. Split into 2 teams, red and blue. Each team takes it in turns to be on 30-minute and 3-hour standby.
Standby. Go!
Anti-terrorism training is unique to the regiment. All new recruits have to be trained in the role. It requires speed and tremendous teamwork when getting to grips with a vast array of new equipment and technology. For any regular soldier, counter-terrorism training will be completely new.
You're a new recruit, you know, you don't know, haven't got a clue of what's going on, what the equipment is, what's happening, you know, and so, I mean, in that whole scenario, you end up as a ladder man, you know, in an assault team. So you end up at the bottom of the ladder, you know, again. So, and which is only fair and right, because you don't know what the business is.
CQB, or close quarter battle, is a combat skill developed by the regiment. Members of the counter-terrorism team spend endless hours in the killing house, a specially constructed building designed to practice their techniques. The killing house has specially designed bullet-absorbent walls because the soldiers use live rounds.
Sniper position is just 10-15 metres forward here, yeah? You happy with that?
Yeah, no problems.
Okay, right, where you go?
The anti-terrorism team consists of 2 groups, the main assault group and the sniper group. The 2 teams exercise independently, but cross-training does occur. A high degree of dedication and discipline goes into becoming an expert shot in a hostage rescue situation. Members of both groups of the team must have the ability to shoot from any position in any environment. Because of this, SAS soldiers train to identify and confirm targets, then act rapidly. Because of the multiple roles of the regiment with its myriad of special insertion skills, continuation training involves the learning of new skills at a phenomenal rate.
It's like playing with a top football team. There's always fresh blood coming in who are all a good high standard, and they're always pushing you. You've got to compete with these guys all the time.
That's why during the selection process they're looking for guys with self-discipline, so that they know when they get in that they're going to still maintain that self-discipline and maintain that level of fitness for any op.
You may be working alongside the cream of the British Army, but you're always under total scrutiny.
You're actually more underneath the say magnifying glass in the squadron, what you are in training, you know, as you're going through the selection process, because you're actually going to be working with the guys. You know, if you're a head, that's it, binned, you know. Because it does happen, you do get the odd 1 or 2 that sort of get through the cracks, you know, and then they get, like you say, they get the squadron, goes to their head, and it has happened to a few, various squadrons. You know, the last 3 months they get binned, you know. You know, where it's say, how can you say, downtown misbehaviour or in the squadron misbehaviour, you know, bye-bye, yeah, don't come back.
And the best thing to do when you get into the squadron is just, you know, keep your head down, keep your mouth shut, and absorb all that information that's been given to you.
Listen and learn.
Listen and learn. Yeah. Continue to be, you know, or be the grey man, you know, just, you know, and when people talk to you, talk to them, you know. You know, and make sure you're there on time and you're there to do the business.
Another role of the SAS is close protection. The regiment has provided bodyguards for VIPs both in the UK and abroad. For a highly trained soldier to operate in a civilian theatre involves the mastering of yet another specialist skill.
Well, it's the same as soldiering in military clothes, just a different type of uniform. You're doing a job and you're doing a military role, and you've been asked to bodyguard somebody, then you'll do that. The only difference being, instead of wearing camouflage gear or counter-terrorist gear, you're wearing civvies.
Depending on the threat assessment, the team may need to be heavily armed when bodyguarding a VIP. Often, these weapons have to be concealed. The SAS employ a variety of techniques when protecting a VIP, and practice these as a series of foot drills.
One guy's alive! Get down!
Whilst driving in convoy, the team also use specialist defensive and evasive driving techniques to protect the VIP. But for a hardened soldier, this role is far from glamorous.
It's boring.
It's boring from the point of view that you're half the time you're spent sat doing nothing while your VIP is holed away somewhere. For every 10, 15, 20 minutes of activity, you've been sat around for 11 hours. So it's quite a boring job. But once again, it's a job that you've got to keep yourself alert at, and you're a professional. That's what you are. You're a professional soldier, and if you're asked to do that role, then once again you'll do that role to the best of your ability. You might not like doing it, but you've drawn the short straw. You've got to go and do this, so you go and do it, and get on with it.
Because of the multiple roles of the SAS, the regiment has to be on constant standby to deal with terrorism and go on operations behind enemy lines. The ethos of the SAS is to train hard, to fight easy. This is vital if the regiment is to be constantly ready to fulfill its role in combat. Historically, the regiment has been deployed in conflicts throughout the world: the Falklands, Bosnia, and recently Afghanistan and the two Gulf Wars. But what is it like when all that training is put into a real contact situation?
The fact that you've passed selection and you've came from whatever unit you've arrived from doesn't then say, okay, this guy's going to react this way when the bullets start buzzing towards him. They can react totally the opposite way. They can hit the deck and not want to get on with it. But you would hope, that because of what he's went through and all that, he's going to get up and fight with you, and that's what it's out. But at the end of the day, until you come under fire, effective enemy fire as they call it, then you can't judge how you're going to react yourself.
Yeah, but nobody does. Nobody does till you get shot at. And you get shot, you shit yourself. You shit yourself, you get down because you remember the training. Down and crawl, move, rather fast. And your yourself's going like that. It's common sense. But you remember your basic training. That's what it's all about.
It's like a car crash, I suppose. You don't want to be in it, but it happens so quick, and then before you know it, it's over in a few seconds or 10 minutes, and it's happened.
The whole thing is about it's the training, and people say, well, you're frightened, but you're not, because you're totally concentrating on what you're going to do, and you're thinking about the operation, what's happening, and you're reacting to that. So you haven't got time to be frightened. If you're frightened, you end up dead because you're going to be slow. It's afterwards, when you finish the contact, then you may sit down and you might think, oh, that was a bit close there, Johnny Bud, and you'll sit and have a chanter about it. And then at that time, because the adrenaline is starting to fall out, out your body, you're losing that adrenaline rush that you had during the initial contact. That is when you may feel a little apprehension and a little worry as to what went on. You can't think about your enemy. All you think about is that if he's putting fire down against you, you're going to take him out. Can't have any emotion about it.